Hello, my name's Sarah and I work for Southend Educational Psychology Service. I'll tell you a little bit more about my job in a minute, but first I'd like to say thank you very much to One Southend for asking me to come along here today and speak to you. I'm a bit sad that we haven't got the barbecue that was the plan initially, but I'm afraid COVID-19 has taken over a lot of our plans this year, so we're having to do things very differently. But I'm here and just speaking to you for a little while today about some things around managing anxieties and thinking about going back to school in September as well. So as an educational psychologist, my job usually is to work in schools with children and young people, and I haven't been able to do that for quite a few months now because of the restrictions, but hoping in September, like you, I can come back and visit children in schools again. So I'm aware, I know I've felt some anxieties over the last few months because this COVID-19 situation has been new for all of us. So it's been very tricky for children, young people and adults, regardless of our situation. So it's a very new experience for all of us. But what I would like to talk to you just a little bit about today is some ways that help me and some of the children and young people that I've worked with in the past help manage and think about when you're feeling a little bit anxious and worried about things. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a survey I did with some children and young people in Southend and give you a few tips. Now, the plan was for this session to have been live so you could ask me some questions, but we can't do that today because we've got a few technical issues. So instead, I'm just going to give you a few ideas today, and then you might like to post up some questions or email some questions through, and we'll think about doing a live session another day. Okay, so let's carry on and let me just show you a couple of pictures here from the survey that I just mentioned. So as an educational psychology service, me and my colleagues decided to ask children what it was like living through COVID-19 and what their thoughts were about going back to school. And we had 752 children and young people respond to our questionnaire, and you might have been one of those. So when we looked at the questionnaire and all your answers, we came up with some key themes. I'm not sure if that comes up very well here, but also on the One Southend website, they've put up a video of a webinar of us talking about your thoughts and experiences. So some of the main things that came across that people shared with us was thinking about what will help when you return to school in September. And the key 4 themes of things that you children and young people really mattered to you were relationships. So the relationships with the people that care for you at home, and your relationships with your friends, and relationships with the teachers and teaching staff in school. The second thing that was really important was an idea of safety. So when you go back to school, is it going to be safe? You were worried about things like you might get ill yourself and take the illness back to your family who might be vulnerable to getting ill. You were also worried about your parents and carers maybe going back to work and getting ill themselves. So there was a lot of worry there about being safe, and those are quite real worries. You know, the COVID-19 is still about in the country and in the world, so those type of worries, they're very natural, and there's a lot of you experiencing them. The other thing that came out from this questionnaire was about certainty. You wanted some certainty about what was going to happen when you go back to school. So you wanted to know what day you were going back, what your teacher's name was going to be, what your classroom was going to look like. And I know that all the schools in Southend are working really hard to make sure those things do actually happen when you go back in September. There's some videos on a lot of the school websites. Our website, Southend DPS website, we've put a lot of resources on there too to help you ease some of those anxieties about going back to school. But again, as I've just said, this is a completely natural thing to feel anxious about. You may have felt anxious about going to school or already feel anxious about going to school regardless of COVID-19. this has just added a different flavour to what we're experiencing at the moment. And the final theme that came from this bit of work we did was actually about opportunities. So opportunities that you've had during lockdown to try out different things, be in school in a different way, build different relationships with people because you've been together more. And for some of you that was a really positive thing, and for some of you it has been a bit more tricky, and there was lots of talk about opportunities that you'd missed as well. So not being able to maybe go to a school prom, not having your year 6 leavers do, or not being able to say goodbye to your year group teacher. So lots of things in there. And I wonder, you know, you out there today listening to this was 752 children, whether those thoughts resonate with you, if you feel the same things. Because it seems that children and young people across the country are feeling very similar things, because we've done some work with Nottingham as well, and the children there feel very much the same. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure that your real anxieties are managed, and some of that will be the adults helping you, and some of it will be things that you can do for yourself. And that's something that we'll just have a little bit of a think about now. So, as I say, when we did this questionnaire, we then thought about some activities that might be useful. So we shared some things with schools, and we created some calendars for fun things to be able to do over the holidays, to help you think about school, but also to help you feel a little bit more relaxed and settled about the idea of going back to school. So on these calendars, so for example, today is Friday the 7th of August, so today's activity is to phone a friend and say hi. So that's something that you can do, that you can phone them and maybe ask them how they're feeling and what their thoughts are about school. And there's lots of things here, even like slightly silly things like wear your new school shoes to make them feel comfy. But it's an activity thing here to make you think about school, build up to going back to school, but maybe develop some strategies that will help you feel a little bit calmer at school and when you go back to school. So we're thinking about that again, some activities that might help you if you are feeling anxious. This is a bag that I use quite a lot in my work, and I call it my calm bag. And when I go and work with children and young people, quite often they've not met me before, and they can feel a little bit nervous about meeting someone new and feel quite anxious. So I give them my bag and let them have a feel and a play with some of the things in my bag. So I'm just going to show you a few things in here today, and maybe if we do another session another day, I can show you a few more things in my bag, okay? So one of the things in my bag is as simple as a ball, and my ball is a very soft squishy ball that gets a really good squeeze and let go with it. So with this ball, squeezing it can help me feel a little bit calmer because I can get some of my anxiety out on it. It feels nice and soft to hold, and I can roll it as well, or put it from hand to hand. And sometimes these movements, these little movements, can help calm me down, calm down my breathing, and help me just feel a little bit more settled and grounded. And thinking about breathing, breathing is a really important thing to do, and an important way for us to stop feeling so anxious when we're in that state of getting quite agitated. So again, one of the things in my bag is a slinky. I'm sure you've all seen these, and they can be very fun to play with, but they can also be a really nice way of regulating our breathing. And we can think about taking a big breath in and then breathing out slowly by using the slinky. So if I do that now, if I take a big breath in and then let it out. And you can do that slowly like that, and it calms you down. Or you can do some quicker breaths in and out, quicker, shorter breaths, which can actually energise you and make you feel a little bit more active. So they're just a couple of things in my bag. So I'll leave that to show you some more things, hopefully another day. The last thing I wanted to think about with you today, just for this shorter initial video, is just another way to think of things to do when you're feeling a little bit anxious and a little bit worried about things. So I have these cards here that I use sometimes to help think about what I can do when I'm feeling a little bit anxious and a little bit worried about things. So sometimes it's play outside, and hopefully some of you have the gardens, and now you can go out into the parks and maybe down to the seafront. You can have some fresh air, which again is something to look forward to, and something to exercise is very good for reducing anxiety. You can practice a hobby and play music, or listen and sing along to your favourite music. So they're all activities. Again, you can have these cards and you can pick something that you could do which takes your mind off of some of the things that you might feel anxious about. Because what we need to remember at the moment, some of the things that you feel anxious about, there's nothing we can necessarily do to take some of those things away. Sometimes you might be anxious about something that is not such a big thing, and it's something that we can manage. But even as adults at the moment, there's lots of uncertainty with COVID-19. So we cannot say that everything is going to go all right, or everything is going to be okay, because we don't know what's going to happen. But what we do know is we are all keeping as safe as we can. We're washing our hands, we're keeping the distance between the other people, we're wearing our face masks. So we're doing everything to stay as safe as we can. And that is a way to combat feeling too anxious. It's by doing those things that we know keep us safe, and then having some nice things to distract us from those feelings of anxiety. So I hope what you could think about doing now is go out and enjoy some of the sunshine, or put on a song that you like really, really loud and sing along to it, or go and find the calendar and do what the calendar says and phone a friend for a quick chat. These resources will be on our website, and they're also on the One Southend website. So this has just been a really quick hello today, and some ideas that I hope that you found helpful. And I will really look forward to hopefully coming and doing something live with you in the future, and certainly coming to see you again very soon, hopefully in real life. Wishing you all the best for the rest of the summer holidays. Thank you. Goodbye.